Right then, welcome back to the channel and another Scrapper-Rock video. Although I'm not sure why we keep calling it Scrapper-Rock, because although it started life as a salvage car, with all the modifications we've done to it now, it is far from that. So far, we have upgraded the suspension, upgraded the wheels and tyres, not these ones. We've got rock sliders on there, underbody protection. We've cut off the standard tub and put on a custom tray back. We've got a tent box on there, storage. This is now triple locked. So from the factory, it came with the rear and centre locker and the low range gearbox. We've then retrofitted a Harrop e-locker in the front. So it is a very, very capable car. But unfortunately, after an off-roading trip, we ended up getting mud in the cambelt. The cambelt slipped and took the rest of the engine out with it, which leads us on to the last video. If you missed the last video, we basically did a full strip down of the 2 litre TDI that come in this. Not only have we rebuilt it, but we've upgraded it along the way. So it has now got a custom hybrid turbo on there, a CP3 fuel pump. We've got race cams, pistons, a little bit of a parts bin car. So we managed to find quite a lot of parts that we had laying around on different shelves, but we put them to good use and rebuilt this engine. It's also got a uni-clutch in there. We're hoping, because of the increased power and torque and the amount of abuse this gets, we're hoping that the uni-clutch in there is going to be more than enough for that. So with a fully, freshly rebuilt engine, all the upgrades, that is the reason why we are in the dyno today, to find out what power our AMAROK is going to do. So we mentioned in a previous video when we were on about potentially doing engine conversions and stuff like that, we decided on the 2 litre, but the aim of keeping the 2 litre was to upgrade it to a similar spec to a V6 AMAROK. We're going to compare it like for like, so we're going to compare it to a V6 manual. The problem that we have got on the dyno, and the reason why we've changed it from the 34-inch mud tyres to these AT tyres, is we found in the past that any kind of all-terrain, mud terrain, rugged terrain on the dyno just saps a load of power. So the figures that we're going to see are probably going to be down by a small percentage. The ATs are definitely going to be more accurate than the mud terrains. Again, that's why we've put these on. But anyway, less of the talking. Let's get the tuners to work their magic and find out what power the AMAROK is going to be. So Tom's been working his magic for the last few hours on the dyno. We've finally got some power figures for the AMAROK, so let's have a look what it's done. We will start with a stock 2 litre TDI AMAROK. It's the same horsepower model. We haven't got a dyno graph from this before the upgrades. Obviously the cambelt snap, we weren't intentionally planning on doing the upgrades right now, but we got forced into a corner with that one. So this is a stock 2 litre AMAROK, usually 168 horsepower. This did 172.6 and 330 foot-pound of torque. Not bad, but for quite a big pickup, not enough. So then moving on to what we've got now. With the hybrid turbo and the other upgrades, we are now at 238.5 and 370 foot-pound of torque. Massive improvement over a stock 2 litre engine. But let's see how it compares to a 3 litre V6 manual AMAROK. Removing the stock 2 litre graph to avoid confusion, the red line is the AMAROK as it is now, and then the green line is the V6 AMAROK manual, 224 horsepower. I think that's the DDXC and the DDXD engines. There is a DDXE, which is 258 horsepower. Basically, this V6, the the manual with the slightly low horsepower. This dip that you see here in power and torque, that's the factory limitations. Obviously, without those limitations, if this was a 258 horsepower model, this graph would probably just continue a similar line to the 2 litre all the way across. Same with the torque, it'd probably just follow it a little bit more and taper off a little bit higher. But considering the green line is a factory 3 litre TDI that you can buy, or you could buy when they were new from the forecourt, and then the 2 litre, our 2 litre AMAROK is now running more power and more torque at the top end, a little bit lazier at the bottom end, but I doubt that is going to be noticeable on the road, or should I say off-road. Although I am really impressed with the power figures, obviously we need to see what it's going to be like when we actually get it on the road and get some testing done off-road. There's probably going to be a few of you in the comments wondering why it's not done more power, to say we've got the CP3 on there, the cams. The main reason for that is the restriction from the turbo, so it's only a hybrid turbo. These originally are 168 horsepower, so if you compare the stock turbo limitations, which is about 200, to what we've got now, just short of 240 horsepower. Also, we have got a snorkel on there. We have already established in another video that causes a little bit of a restriction, a few horsepower. The CP3 got put on there just as a precaution. The CP3s are considered to be a lot stronger than a CP4, a lot more susceptible to bad fuel, which is the main reason why we put all that on there. And then, as we've already mentioned, we've got the all-terrain tyres as well. So if this was a complete road-going AMAROK with standard road tyres without the snorkel, possibly you could even fit like a cold air intake, and you'd probably get away with the stock fuel pump and the stock cams. In theory, it should make a little bit more power than what we've seen today. But as I mentioned, really happy with this. We're going to get it off the dyno now, and then we'll get it on the road and do a road test. So I know I've literally just said on the last part of this video that we were happy with the power, we were going to get it out on the road, see what it drives like. But Tom was adamant that with a little bit more time spent on the tuning, we could extract a little bit more power from the current setup. So that's exactly what we've done. We did have to push it off the dyno to get the race cars on there for the Burr kit last week. We've managed to get it back on the dyno today because of a cancellation and spend a little bit more time on it, which has unlocked a little bit more power. So let's have a look what it's done now. So as you guys will have just seen, the last part of this video, it did 238.5. Just by increasing the rail pressure and tweaking a few maps, we've managed to get over 250 horsepower mark. So 251.8, a little bit more torque. We're now just a smidge over 380 foot-pound. But yeah, other than the increase, it's a nice graph, nice improvement all the way across the rev range. So we can't complain with that. So I know I have already said this, but we are going to get this out now and take it for a test drive. So, first drive in the Scrapper Rock. At least first drive for me and Rob. Tom's already been out on multiple road tests to make sure it's all right. Not the best conditions today. It's been snowing last night. Most of it on the road has pretty much melted away now. But obviously we've got some more power, some more torque. This, without putting in four-wheel drive, is actually rear-wheel drive the majority of the time. So, might make for a bit of fun. Let's see. I can still see why we call it a Scrapper Rock. It's wanting to go. Feels good. It's not too bad. Brakes are still a bit spongy, they need a bleed, but it's definitely a lot better than it was before. I'm guessing that weren't quite full throttle. So not quite full throttle, it already feels faster than it was before. or something.
It's not too bad.
Gear changes are brutal.
It gets up to speed pretty quick.
Got a whiplash.
Traction still seems to cut power for some reason.
Is it hot?
Yeah.
4 degrees. She's cold.
One tyre firing in there.
Good job that's a private road, Rob.
It is a private road. Said so. Still grips.
Does grip pretty well.
That was 4th gear.
So, good results from the hybrid turbo, massive improvement from what this was before. If you've got a bi-turbo and you feel like it's a little bit sluggish and you want a bit more power, obviously get in contact with us. We've got the upgrades available now.
It'll be 10 times better on an auto this as well.
Yeah, if this was like the 8 HP gearbox, you wouldn't have to put up with Rob's rubbish gear changes. But yeah, hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.
Absolute legend. Because I'm stuck. Go on, lad. Come on, pull me, baby. Here he goes. Come on. What a legend. He got me out, did lad. Yeah.